You're gonna tell me how to do the list?
Eat a burger.
Eat a
and
burger.
Put
Put
it to rest.
Do it.
Now we know. Daddy's at the law firm until 8 hours, and Davey's watching XXX down in the fucking basement.
Get that out of my face. But you punch the burger?
I'm gonna throw it.
Did you go to therapy?
Yes.
Yeah, we changed it. We're back up.
Come on.
You got a lot of Bobby Knight in you. You got a lot of Bobby Knight in you. We've seen him 2 places.
Good? All right, Wednesday, January 17th, Healthy Debate. Got a big episode, a lot of college basketball stories. My guy right in the mix last night. Joined by Ryan Hammer in a little bit. But first, let me tell you about our friends at Factor. Get started on your New Year's resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery store's prep work and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door with over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons. You'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Forget frantic lunch preps and rush dinners. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon in the new year. Fuel up fast with restaurant-quality meals, all delivered right to your door. Factor now offers loads of snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juices, snacks, and more to keep me going no matter what's on the schedule. Stress less over meal times in the new year. Factor's no prep, no mess meals, free up time otherwise spent in shopping, cooking, and cleanup. There's nothing worse than getting in the car when it's 4 degrees out at night. Nothing worse. Just heat up a Factor. No more wasting time in the kitchen. Factor has everything I need for a week of flavorful, nutritious meals. In addition to ready-to-eat meals, they have cold-pressed juices, smoothies, energy bites, extra protein, veggie sides, and more to keep me organized through frantic times. Head to factormeals.com/debate50 and use code debate50 to get 50% off. That's code debate50 at factormeals.com/debate50 to get 50% off. So college basketball firmly in the mix, a lot with the storylines. We obviously got the NFL playoffs going on, but every night is a war. I think it's the most wide open it's ever been. I'm going to bring on Ryan Hammer, who is, I found through TikTok. I guess you can kind of touch on that. Where did you just kind of started this on your own, correct?
Yeah, I guess like during the pandemic, I was home a lot on TikTok stuff. I had a passion for it, and I just started posting videos about like general sports, like off-season stuff. I always knew it would be March Madness, college basketball, and then my account kind of blew up one year, and I just ran with it. So
yeah, no, it's you're a great follow. A lot of
appreciate it.
Metric-driven stuff, sets, different things. Like all, I don't want to insult you when I say this, but nerd stuff, basketball junkie nerd stuff. That stuff like me and you will text about all the time. So we'll jump into it right from here. So one word to describe this season thus far.
I'll go with equality.
What about one word to describe the tournament moving forward, if you had to, and you could kind of tie those two together and expand?
Yeah, no, this kind of, I feel like every year, but because of the equality that I mentioned, I go mosh pit is my word for the tournament. I just feel like there are 2 teams, I think, playing better than everyone else right now, and then out in one of them has actually lost a couple games recently, and even then, everyone else from the high power teams that you expect, like Duke and Tennessee and Alabama, who's up and down a little bit, but all those teams, I don't see a gap between them and like the Mountain West teams like New Mexico and Colorado State, where those are the small conference teams. So that's why I say mosh pit and equality.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we're gonna. We say it every year. It's as wide open as it can be, but nobody has really separated themselves in terms of like the elite. Last year we had the one Alabama was a super team, and Purdue could be considered in flight A in terms of flight first class, like Jimmy Dykes always does with his plane. This year I think we got a lot of people standing there in general boarding, and it's a war to go get your seat. Nobody is in first class. It's wide open. That makes for a great tournament. We'll see how people separate themselves through conference play. But it is wide open, and every night is nobody is susceptible to a bad loss. Kansas loses to UCF. Houston goes and loses. A lot of teams, tough conferences, but nobody is really like head and shoulders above everybody, and that makes for a good year. We touched on those metrics. So when I first learned about this, I think it was like 2010-ish, I want to say maybe. Luke Wynn, who is now long out of the business, back when writers were a thing, from Sports Illustrated. You remember that name?
Barely, yeah.
Okay, well, let's put a little respect on the guy's name.
No, I'm saying that's on me. That's on me. Yeah.
So Luke
to-
Wynn was with Sports Illustrated. He was awesome. He was the first guy that he used to do the power rankings on sportsillustrated.com, si.com, and he would always incorporate advanced, those things you see, effective field goals. He was the guy about the three-point rate that I got from. He used to incorporate these advanced statistics, and he would say, this guy, Ken Pom. It was like the Wizard of Oz. Like, oh, my God, this is back when Ken Pom didn't realize he could have charged for his website. The website was still free. So that goes to show you how long we were anyway. So anyway, Luke Wynn touches on the top 25 offensive and defensive efficiencies. So what that says is for those unfamiliar, without boring anybody, over 100 possessions, how many points do you score per possession on offense is your offensive efficiency, and on defense, how many do you allow? Over the course of 20 years, it's been a good metric that if you're in the top 25 of both, you can make the Final Four. That has kind of moved a little bit throughout the years. Some people adjusted to 40. What do you use for the elite metric in terms of offensive and defensive efficiency? And we can kind of get into those teams who are fitting both.
Yeah, the Final Four stuff's all over the place. Like Miami had a bad defensive efficiency the last two times they've made it, and like teams are all Loyola was in it one year. They're all over the place. For the national champion, I know for a fact it's top 57 and 37, which sounds high.
See,
but
that's moved now. It used to be top 25 automatic. It actually used to be, I think, top 15 both sides. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone goes by like top 22 in both by the end of the tournament, but going in it's 57-37, except for UConn one year with one of their crazy titles. So it's really top 21-37 offensive and defense going into the tournament, because we need to know going in. All the metrics that everyone uses with KenPom for champions, it's after the tournament, but like that doesn't help us predict anything. So it's 21-37 going in.
So 57 offensive, 37 defensive.
Yeah, it's like anybody 100% have to have it.
Yeah, anybody worth their time or worth their weight does it pre-tournament. So like throw out all those. I think a lot of people I do with that. So I wrote down some of the teams in the top 25 of both. Houston, Purdue, Arizona, Tennessee, Auburn, UNC, BYU, Creighton, and there's one more who just misses. They're 23 and 26. I guess the question I'm going to ask off of that is, should you, in a year like this, should you just be locked into the elite metrics? Or and how much of that pie, if you were making a pizza, how much of that pie should be the metrics? How much should be the eye test? How much of it just be these guys play different? These guys got balls. What kind of pie do you put, I guess, with the metrics in terms of just trusting their top 25? Because I have a question on a team who makes the top 25 that, like, you should, don't just trust the numbers. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and even a couple of teams you mentioned, I'm like, there's just no way they win the national title. I guess we'll get to that. But I would say, history tells us, like, I go 60% more, a little more than half on the metrics, like just as a base, at the least use it as a base to trust the team that you're on, because like teams like Alabama this year and Baylor last year and even this year, the defensive efficiencies just aren't there, so they're not going to win the national title. But I'd say 60% and then like 30 eye tests and 10 gut. Every year there's always a gut. You have to have a gut call, especially when you're picking like a Final Four team or a national champion for sure. After Baylor won the national title, I picked them to win it again the year after, knowing that there were a couple historical things that they didn't fit and they wouldn't win, but it was a gut call, that 10% that I just rolled with. So that was wrong. Obviously.
So the team I was alluding to, they're 23rd offensively, 26th defensively. It's Michigan State. Like, nobody looks worse than Michigan State. But by the metrics, they're elite. And I know they have Izzo. So I guess that's kind of where I was going with, should you just trust the metrics? The answer should be no. Agreed.
Yeah, no, you can't. Even like BYU has played a really soft schedule before Big 12 play. Like, they showed you just really can't trust them. Their offense has dipped dramatically going into Big 12 games, which are the ones that matter obviously the most. Michigan State, I think, KenPom uses like a predetermined, like preseason determination based off of last year and expectations. I still think that's lingering for a team like that was expected to be top 5, number 1, and bouncing in and out of the top 3 and stuff. And I think there's too much on that preconceived notion for them.
Yeah. How many teams can win a national title? Right around the time now where people start asking that, how many teams do you think right now can win a title? Because it's weird, because it is wide open. But like you said, do you see a team like BYU? Who's their coach? Mark Pope?
Yeah. I like Mark Pope. But
I like him. Utah Valley, how many appearances in the tournament? None.
I don't even know.
BYU,
Yeah,
how many
exactly.
tournaments you been to?
Because yeah.
One.
Uh,
So we'll get to that coaching experience, but I don't know, man. I can't see a group of Mormons racing a national title. There's some of it like just a, like you said, gut type of test. So I do think it's wide open. But I think there's a lot of teams I don't see winning a title. What is the list at? You can be a little longer now, like because it is early, so we're not going to hold you to it. But I think it's long, but I also think it's not.
I don't think it's that long at all. I have like 6, maybe 7
Really?
teams I think could win. Yeah.
Really. Who
we
are
list
they?
them off?
Yeah.
Purdue for sure.
Okay.
Purdue and North Carolina are the locks for me. They are for sure those two teams who I mentioned earlier, like
Playing better than
head and
everybody.
shoulders. Yeah, in my own opinion at least. But I'm gonna keep Houston in there, even though like hasn't been good the last couple games. But I think they're taking time to adjust to the Big 12. Man, Arizona, I go back and forth on. I want to put Duke in there. I'll put Creighton in there, even though that's going to be stupid. I just always have a thing for Creighton. And then Kansas and UConn, I have mixed feelings about also. But that's like, I don't know if I mentioned 7 or 8. But
1, 2,
something
3,
like
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, Kansas and UConn. You got
Arizona.
Arizona,
I don't know.
Kansas and UConn. Got to list Kansas and UConn.
Yeah, you have to, but there's so many things I don't trust with them.
Damn.
And by the metrics, the eye test, everything.
Interesting. So teams like Tennessee, I mean, you could pull up the bracketology. That's a good way to, I guess, teams I'm missing. So
Tennessee, I thought about.
Tennessee is
Connect,
really, yeah, they got a big one Saturday. Connect is really good. So the thing with Creighton, I sat behind Creighton people and in front of Creighton people at the Bama game. They don't love Stephen Ashworth's defense, and I don't love, I always get his name wrong, Filippo? What is it, dudes?
Yeah.
He doesn't play offense. So we got 2 liabilities on both ends. Pull up the bracketology one more time. We'll see, like, big omissions if he did it. Sorry. All right, so you got all the ones. Yeah, you don't have Tennessee as a 2. You don't have Wisconsin. You don't have
Tennessee and Wisconsin.
You don't have.
They're interesting.
You don't have Baylor. I think Baylor. They shoot it well, man, and they got some dudes. Saw them live at the Garden. Let's address the elephant in the room. My guy behind the screen, Dukes. Dayton is a projected 3 seed. Dukes, why? What do you got? Why can Dayton win it? And Ryan, why can't they win it? Healthy debate. Let's settle this right now.
They can't win it because of their defense. They can win it because their defense is actually playing better right now, while the shooters are going through their regression. So once the 3-point shot starts hitting again, and you're double teaming Jaron Holmes, and Dayton can shoot from the 3, it's an unstoppable team. It's a Final Four team. It's Miami, in my opinion, at the worst. I think that sincerely, Dayton will be in the Final Four this year. I think the college basketball gods legitimately owe.
They owe them. They do owe them one.
Every single team has had it. That's why I firmly believe that they will make the Final Four.
That's why I think Purdue's going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I see, but I'm just saying Final Four. Like Elite 8. Like it's gonna be a fun run for Dayton.
Agreed. They're very good. I watched them last night.
Auburn though. That's what. Sorry, Ryan. I'm surprised you didn't say Auburn. Do you think that they're frauds, or like why aren't they national championship good?
I don't think they're frauds. I just think they're on a heater. I think I like them a lot. I just think by the end of the SEC play, they're going to end up being like a 4 or 5 seed and have maybe like a Jared Harper. I think it was 2019 type of run to the Final Four, like that level team. Maybe not a national championship is all.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough because playing in these loaded conferences, you're going to take your L's.
Yeah.
You know, like Houston's, I think, is going to experience that. Kansas is going to experience that. But that doesn't mean you're a bad team, especially playing night in, night out against championship-level competition. You can pull up the bracketology one more time off of this. So in the last few years, a high seed has made the Final Four pretty much every year. 2023, San Diego State a 5, Miami a 5, FAU a 9. Year before that, UNC is an 8, UCLA is an 11. In 19, you got Auburn as a 5. Loyola is an 11 in 18. South Carolina, Q's. Michigan State in 15 was a 7. In the championship game in 14, it was a 7 versus an 8. Like, point goes on for the last 10 years. 2013, Wichita State, a 9. Who are some teams that can make a run off of this? And obviously, seeds are going to change, but I'm looking at that 6, even 5 line, but 6 line to like 11 line, because let's face it, one of them's probably going to make the Final Four. Just the way it's going. Like with this parity and the fact that anybody can beat anybody and it's kind of wide open. Who are some teams that you could, I guess, buy a stock in right now as a Final Four type sleeper?
Yeah, well, I want to shout out Dukes first. I think we linked like for the first time on Twitter this past week because I'm a very pro Dayton guy.
Yep.
And I think that there's a real chance that they drop to like a 5 or 6 because at some point they're probably going to lose like a game or 2 before the A-10 tournament. So, yeah, exactly. So when those things happen, like they could drop a little bit, but they're obviously a little higher than that right now. I like New Mexico a lot. I love New Mexico. Elite guards. They play a good 2-way. They play at a good speed. I love Princeton, like not because of last year really at all. They're a very, very different team. Their offense is humming at a level that like the top 10 in the country are. FAU, because of their bad losses, like tell me one good power conference team like Purdue or whatever that wants to play FAU in the second round as like a 1 or 2 seed.
They got some
Nobody.
They got some big guards too. Watch them live. Like those dudes
They're
can
good.
play. Yeah, and experience. So
Yeah, they're good. And then last one, like if it's Gonzaga or St. Mary's, the WCC winner, like they have had real cold streaks. St. Mary's starting to figure it out now, and I think Gonzaga will start to peak, and it will be them in the tournament. But if they get like a 10 seed or like a 7 or 8, that's scary. You don't want to play against Gonzaga like that.
yeah. So all those teams that you mentioned were smaller conference teams. Are there any power teams in that bracketology that jump out?
Yeah, I'd say Texas A&M. They've
Okay.
been really struggling at times. I just know the quality of their team, and like we saw them peak last year at the right time.
Yes.
Also, they just got Penn State, which kind of sucks in the first round. They were also on a heater. If A&M
Wade
can stay
Taylor's
healthy
a
and
bucket too.
exactly, if they can figure it out and stay healthy throughout the SEC play and slowly start to rise and get a couple of wins like they beat Kentucky, like there's no reason that they can't beat anybody in 4 or 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
One question. So I was asking Bosco this. Erase Zach Edey from the earth. Who's the National Player of the Year?
I know what you want me to say.
You can say it.
He wants me. I'll probably say Duran's up there. I'd probably want to give credit to Jaden LeDee, man, but I don't know who I'd go with right now. Maybe RJ Davis is up there too. There's a couple of guys.
Stepping out.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I was also going to say, is Dalton Connect, could he actually make an argument for it?
Yes. Right?
Yeah,
Am I crazy?
mean, he scored like 40 last night. It's crazy, dude. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, he could, but he won't. He won't. He could.
And then say Dayton goes 30-2, and they win the A10
Yeah.
tournament. I just need to know this answer. Could they be a 1 seed?
No, they won't because those teams up there, like Houston and Purdue, have to lose a lot because they're gonna for the 1 seeds especially, they're gonna trust the metrics. A 2 seed is I
It's a
think
metrics
golden
base.
though. You don't have too many eyeballs on you if you're a 2 versus a 1, which doesn't sound like much of a difference, but it definitely is.
Yep.
Yeah. Aside from those teams you mentioned, some mid-major teams to buy stock in. You go, and then I'll give you 3 that I like as well because I don't want to step on your
Okay.
toes. But some
I already
mid-major
mentioned-
teams and why?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
everybody loves to be like, hey, I love Charleston in March. It's like, well,
Yeah, they
you
didn't know.
Right, they didn't know. So like, tell us now why and what you can or what you should be looking for, or a team maybe that's a good mid-major now that can even get better. They're not peaking now, but hey,
Yeah.
they got really good guards. They got a really good. You're into the offensive efficiencies and different things like that, what they do. Maybe they have a coach who's on the rise. He's looking for a bigger job. There's a lot of X factors here with why you could fall in love with a team making a move. Sell us on a few mid-majors.
Yeah, well, I'll say this: like when you look at a bracket and the matchups are out, you find the differences in opponents. So like when Princeton played against Missouri, Princeton crunched the game down and controlled the pace really well, and Missouri just go. So was Arizona though, to be transparent for last year. So they were able to completely take them out of their game. So when you find those differences that have been proven to win in the past, turnover margin is one that I always go to. If you have a team that like forces a ton of turnovers, who was it a few years ago? Like years ago, I think it was like SF Austin or someone like that. They used to do that, and they won. They beat West Virginia, I think, over 14-3. I love Indiana State if they get the right matchup. They're like a better version of Charleston to me. They have like legit NBA talent. They play 5-out offense like an NBA team half the time. They're the best 3-point shooting team in the country. They shoot a ton. They make a ton.
41.3%. Play at a fast tempo. That's my thing is if you can dictate the tempo. One of my favorite ones a couple years ago was Marshall against Wichita State. Wichita State played at a snail's pace. Marshall came in and was running and gunning. By the way, I mean, we should touch on Indiana State. The coach looks like the guy who played Richard Jewell in the movie, Josh Schertz. Unbelievable. Like put 2 images of them together, and then the kid Avila looks like the last
He's the
pick in
best.
men's leagues. I mean, he is just
He's the best.
just nobody you would pick on a basketball court. But yes, Indiana State very dangerous, and the Missouri Valley's been pretty good, in the tournament.
Yeah, Drake beat them. So like right now they have work. They could both get in the tournament. Like I think they could, but they would both have to not slip up except for versus each other. So
Anybody else in terms of mid majors?
yeah, I mentioned Princeton, New Mexico. GCU is an obvious one. Like they're
Yep.
unbelievable. They have legit NBA talent. Also, they're similar to Indiana State in ways, and also McNeese State is like the legit opposite. Where if they get a team that likes to play fast, it'll be a nightmare match of them. And Will Wade has experience.
Yeah, he was a
I've
major
said that
coach.
before,
It's
so,
not somebody you want to
yeah.
see on a. It's the same way. I thought
Yeah.
UConn, they won the title. I thought one of UConn's toughest games last year was Iona in New York.
Yeah.
In the state of New York, and you're playing against Patino. That's not like easy, you know? So you touched on Grand Canyon. Ty-in Grant Foster was a Kansas transfer. He's legit. Bryce Drew, we talk about guys breaking through, right? So I go back to the 2021 tournament in COVID. Played okay with Iowa. Last year looked like they gave a little bit of a fight to Gonzaga. So now a couple of years of that experience, I say Grand Canyon is going to be the most public underdog pick in brackets this year, no matter what. Like, it's got the
unless
name.
they get
It's got
a
the
super high
students.
seed.
Yep.
So
it's got the student section that everyone's gonna like take a look at. I think Grand Canyon's very public. The other one, I fell in love with them last night a little bit. They didn't cover the over, but Samford is coming out of the Southern Conference, which, reminder, back in the day was Davidson when Steph Curry was playing in that Southern Conference. Furman wins the game last year. They shoot a ton of threes, and they got the kid Akor. Or Acker. Achor. I knew that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable player in terms of a big guy. So I like those three as well. We touched on the coaching experience. I think we're in a little bit of a shift here. First off, there's seven active coaches who've won a title. To me, that's very low, right? So it's Hurley, Drew, and Bennett, who all did it recently. And then you guys like Patino, who did it 10 years ago, Calipari did it 10 years ago, and Self did it 20 years ago. And Izzo did it 20 years ago. And if Self didn't win in 2022, he would have been 15 years ago and counting. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of this old thing of like, you have to have been to a Final Four. You have to have had a bunch of Final Fours. You've had to have a lot of tournament success. I don't know if that's accurate. How much stock do you put in that? Because you look at guys like Hurley last year, right? Wins a title. Before that, his best tournament appearance was a Sweet 16. You know, so it's that old, like, they can't break through until they can. Scott Drew wins a title. He had only been to 2 Elite Eights. One of them was a decade before that. Bennett had only been to Elite Eight once before that. And then we were coming right out of the legendary run of Roy, Coach K, Jay Wright. Like, you did have to have that. So I saw a changing of the guard here. And again, you only see 7 guys. And I think Izzo's on his last legs. Self, you know, he could stay there until he's 90 with his success. But he's at the tail end of his career. I think Cal's at the tail end of his career. Patino at the tail end of his career. So, like, and you look at college football, there's 3 active coaches with titles. I could be wrong. I think it's 3 now with Saban gone. So, and maybe if Harbaugh leaves, potentially, like, there's not the old legendary coaches anymore in college. So how much stake do you put in coaching experience?
The initial question was like, do you like value it? I think there's like a yes and no. I think there's a base that you need. I think historically, like, no first-time head coach has ever won except for Michigan when they had a mid-season change because of something, and second-year coaches don't do well either. So, like, you need a base to be good enough. But from there, like, we see coaches adopting NBA styles. I mentioned Indiana State. They're not going to win a national title, obviously. But, like, you can adopt new styles, and they're younger. Like, Patino's son at New Mexico could do some damage also. Like, does that play into it? I do think, like we saw Izzo last year, I thought that was a very easy pick for them to get to the Sweet 16 past Marquette as a 7 seed. Not just because of Izzo and the system, but, like, that was a huge part of it. And it gives you a really good base, I think, for the most part. But the ceiling, I don't think you need it at all. I think it could be anybody to win.
Yeah, I think we're in a time of breaking through. We're going to have a lot of guys breaking through. Like, it sucks he's on a down year, but I did think few could win a title. And I think if you're the guy continuously knocking, I use the term like the VIP at the club. If you're right outside that gate, you're eventually going to get in. You know, like, you look at a guy like Musk, couple of Elite Eights. Can he win one? Oates obviously building something down there. Take bias aside from it. Like, you put your team in these conversations, can you eventually get through? And I think we're in that type of frame. What kind of stats or what terminology or what elements do people love to say or say, oh, this matters, that you would consider fallacies in terms of success in March? So the old thing, hey, you need some you need guards to, you know, win. That's a broad term. Or, oh, that team shoots too many threes. I don't like that guy. They don't play with a true post-up. Or maybe they play too slow. What are a lot of things that you feel in the sport or, like, you know, from predictors or, you know, commentators or different things that people just throw out these terms and it's a lot of just people sitting on bar stools to, you know, to put it.
It's and to an extent, like, we're doing the same thing. I do the same thing. I sit on a chair, whatever. Like, it's the same kind of shit. But like, we're all spewing some nonsense every now and then. But, like, guard play, I believe in for the most part. Like, you need to have someone who can handle the ball that you go to with 10 seconds left in the game. You need someone. It's that simple. I do believe in like the teams that run through bigs can't win national titles. Where like I don't think Purdue they could because Braden Smith is so good. I'm gonna take them out of the question. But everyone else, like Dukes was talking about Dayton before. Like I don't think you could win through a big like DeRon Holmes, even though I think he's amazing. It's tough. I think teams that score a lot get a lot of attention. So like Alabama last year, where like I was confident Alabama would not win the national title last year because of stuff like that. And Arizona last year and Arizona again this year, like I don't think they're gonna win, even though people are gonna choose them. They're like, man, like that's the best offense in the country. Like no one can stop them. Like no, like they have been stopped and someone will stop them. And the other way too, with like Virginia's defense last year and in past years, where when they won a national title, they had a very good offense because they had Kyle Guy and they had NBA talent like going into the league too. But I think when they're one side of the spectrum, like insane defense or insane offense, like you're not going to win a national title like that. There has to be balance.
But you could get a hell of a run. You saw that with Miami. And I remember those Pittsnoggle teams, you know, an unbelievable offense. And Louisville, I think, was the reverse. They had a really good defense back with Russ Smith and those guys. Like,
right.
So you can, you have to be a unicorn if you only do one thing exceptionally well. But that exceptional thing can sure carry you pretty far. Go ahead, dude.
Because Miami last year,
Yes.
I kept betting against them after the second round because I was like, there's no way in hell that they're going to be able to have the shooting performance for 5 games straight. Again, it is possible. It's like there's that small percentage, but when the shots don't fall, you need a defense to kind of carry you through a win.
You're looking at a guy who said Nova couldn't win a title because they shoot too many threes. And then they went out and shot 65% for the field and 50% from 3 over a 6-game period. And just banged me the whole way.
You also look
you know, it doesn't happen till it can happen.
Ryan, I look at a team like Houston, right? They don't shoot the ball particularly well, like especially LJ Crowder the past couple of games from 3. But what they do exceptionally well is they give themselves second chance opportunities on the offensive boards, and that's why I actually think like some teams defensively when you can't rebound defensively, you could play 5-on-5 defense, great, but when you're not getting that rebound and you're letting out second chances, that makes the other team's possessions just double and the time of the possessions double. Like you get another fresh 20. So I think that's like something I also sometimes look like free throw rate.
You touched on those upset factors, and then we kind of went off on a tangent. In teams you look at for success, you said the fact turnover margin. What are some other ones?
Yeah, well, the one like pace of plays, I do a huge. I call it the trapezoid of excellence.
That's my
pace. Where like a team that can play both ways and at a high rating on both ends of the floor, like that moves me a lot. Princeton was one of those teams last year. I mentioned them to people, and I was like, I'm not picking them though, idiot right here, and idiot like everyone else. But stuff like that. I mentioned turnover margin, and also like when we talked about differentiating factors, like Furman and Virginia last year, Charleston and San Diego State. More people picked Charleston than San Diego State last year because Charleston was that fun offensive team, but San Diego State was that insane defense that ended up making the Final Four, like we talked about being good at one thing. But they just ruined their entire game plan, and they were always going to win that game. Like they were the better team. What they do better was much better than what Charleston did at their best. So stuff like that. But pace is the big one, and then it really depends. Like it really depends on matchups. If one team fouls a lot and the underdog like gets to the free throw line a lot, like they're going to exploit the hell out of that. So
yeah, it makes sense. National title pick right now can be loose, but more so 3 teams to buy stock in. Like if you were picking 3, I'll give you this: 3 futures to buy, 3 futures to sell if you were out on the open market. So you can do that.
Without knowing the odds, but I can gauge what they are.
Sure.
I'm not like stupid like that. UNC would be my first one to buy.
Okay.
They'd be my pick. Honestly, if I had to make a bracket right now, all in a vacuum, all things regardless. I'd buy that. I'd buy Creighton for the value alone.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to end up winning. I still like them enough to buy the value. I'd probably buy Duke also. I think they're probably not low on the book odds because they're Duke, but they should be lower based on what they're actually outputting right now. But I'd buy them. I'd probably sell UConn. I don't see them going back to back. I'd sell Arizona and I'd sell Wisconsin. I like Wisconsin. I'm going to be there next week. There's just no hate to them. I just don't see a national title ceiling. That's all.
Yeah, just be careful insulting their coach in public.
I'm gonna pass on that one.
In person, yeah, I did it. It almost derailed my career. So, be careful with that. I'll get you out of here on this. We got guys who call in. I'm obviously from New York. A lot of people mad at me with the St. John's thing. Help me out here, or like judge me on a level of crazy, or knowing what I said. Obviously, I think St. John's. I went out and famously said I don't think anybody can fix St. John's, even when they hired Pitino. The facilities are bad. They have not recruited New York really well. And I think the more so, yes, could Pitino win a title in 6 years? 100%. Like, he's a legend. But long term, if you're a St. John's fan forever, like, yeah, you would trade all that for the one title in 6 years. It's legendary. But if they don't win, this was my counterpoint, who's the next guy? Because St. John's has not had a lot of success historically. That facility that they're going to build is going to take a long time. They're still in Jamaica, Queens. The places that you're competing against have a beach, a pool, history, an Xbox in your locker room. Like, you go out there, and some guys just want to get the hell away from New York. So now I know it could be a national brand, but again, like, there is no lock and key of Krzyzewski leaves, keys are handed to John Shire. Lives, breathes, shits Duke. Roy Williams leaves, hands it to Hubert Davis. Lives, breathes, shits North Carolina, Carolina Blue. I don't see that at St. John's, and I don't know who the next guy that they think it could be. If it's Pitino's son, okay, a lot of success, but not really a St. John's guy coming from New Mexico. It's another, like, transplant, and you don't have to be like, Oates was from Wisconsin, went to Buffalo and goes to Alabama, has success. Musselman was an NBA guy. Like, it's not Bruce Pearl's been around. A lot of these guys, you don't need to be where you're from. It's not a local town hiring a high school guy. But again, I just think if St. John's doesn't win this title, I don't know if they're set up for success way down the road.
No, they're definitely not. Like you said, like, I think it's a 6-year, 8-year deal, whatever it is. Like, that's what they're aiming for now and not worrying about after that, which, to be fair, like, is a huge step up. They've already made a massive step from what they've experienced the last few years. National title is some lofty, lofty goals. And for the record, I'm from Jersey. My parents are from Brooklyn. So, like, I understand the area. I understand everything you're saying from a personal level for the most part. And I don't know. They're not going to be able to just find a predecessor and, like, plant him in the organization. And I don't know if Pitino, if he wasn't Pitino, his son, Richard Pitino, if he wasn't his son, why leave New Mexico in a good conference, say things kind of hold up the next few years, and then go to St. John's in the Big East where you have to just, like, fight for your life, and like you said, the facilities and funding and resources are the same, if not better, at New Mexico. Why would Dusty May leave FAU unless it's the perfect situation? Like, he just won't. They just, for no reason. There will be people maybe more locally, like you said. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be Tobin Anderson, but maybe Tobin Anderson does something crazy in the next few years at Iona and stuff like that, and he is a local guy. I don't know. I have my doubts about the St. John's program. And you said, like, no one can fix it. What is fixing it? Like, is it getting a national title? Then I don't know if anyone can either.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of these St. John's guys push back, and they're like, well, we've been irrelevant forever. Like, we just want some success. I'm like, that's fine. You guys can sell your souls for a national title. No one is faulting you for that. It's being, like, 100 feet up and equating the situation. And again, like you said, no predecessor, Pitino not getting any younger, bad facilities, bad recruiting, bad location, play 3 games at the Garden. They're going to try and play some more now. But even the big games, the fans from UConn are infiltrating those seats as well. A lot of obstacles to overcome at St. John's. And if you were going to go the opposite side of it and be like, you're crazy, St. John's is going to succeed, you're entitled to that opinion. But I think the more people that I talk to rationally and see that side go, yeah, it's a 6-year window. And that's fine. Like, you have a 6-year window to win a title. That's fine. But down the road, I think you're going back to the days of half-empty Garden. If you don't get the right guy, like half-empty Garden, back to kind of a very mid-major type of Power 5 team. Like the most mid-Power 5 team you can equate. Like, let's look at history. Gonzaga has been dominant for 20 years. Gonzaga's run has been way more successful than St. John's. St. John's made the one Final Four. Gonzaga's been a 1 seed more times than St. John's. Gonzaga's made 2 championship games. St. John's never did that. In terms of equating the two, and the big X factor too is kids nowadays, like, the glory of St. John's. From the time they've grown up, they've never seen St. John's be good. So you're selling them on, like, 6 months of success. It's the same reason free agents don't go to the Knicks. Like, well, how could you not? Remember those days in the 90s? No, I wasn't born yet. Like, that's where it's at. So, you could give your final thoughts on that, and then, really anything else you had. But I think I'm a St. John's truther. They don't like me, but it kind of is what it is.
No, everyone in the tri-state area, I think for the most part wants St. John's to be good, unless you're another fan of another Big East team like UConn or something. But, like, St. John's being good, it would be fun. It would be awesome. I think maybe like a Final Four run could be in the cards at some point, not this year. I don't see the longevity. I'm with you for the most part on there in a very respectful way, but all else, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. One final one. I apologize. Healthy debate. If two people were, or one person was running his mouth and potentially going to start a riot, and you stepped in and just kind of pushed them to the side, you'd be de-escalating a situation, correct? You'd be a modern-day peacemaker?
Depending on where you are, yeah.
Okay. See, I like that. So
Healthy debate, Ryan. It was wrong place, wrong time.
yeah.
That's a fair answer from Dukes. Yeah.
It's Dukes the troll. Dukes the troll. Right. Thank you. We'll be in touch around conference championship week and as we really start to dominate this sport. But best wishes, man. See you around soon.
For sure. See y'all.
All right.
See you, Ryan.
Good. All right. So long halftime. Let's do that quick, and then do you have a halftime, Jet Ski, or go right in? Halftime, and let's tell you about FitBod, and then go with the calls.
Who holds the shot put record at Bayside?
I'm going to go with Ox.
Rhonda Robistelli.
Oh, fuck.
All right, for the wins, Frank. The Mets had 4 position starters in the 2006 All-Star Game. David Wright, Jose Reyes, Carlos Beltran, and this player in his first season.
Rico, it's your buddy, Lucas Duda.
You got the buddy part right, Paul LaDuca.
Oh, shit!
In season 2 during the talent competition of the Miss Bayside pageant, Kelly sings what song?
Oh, no.
To stay alive. If not, it doesn't matter.
Come on, Rico!
Yeah, I'll give you credit. These are some of the hardest ones I've ever had.
Need an answer in 5.
I don't know it.
Or
Congrats, Frank.
Frank wins. It's Blue Moon. Still did
Frank, well done. You didn't miss, man. You didn't miss. Run it back.
I just slugged one where I just Champ Ho's name.
Well, that's to run it back. Good job, Jeff.
All right, so obviously, respect to Jeff. Some of the hardest questions I've ever had. When you get in front of the hot lights, you do freeze up a little bit. Like KKTY and Zack Attack was pretty easy, and I was like panicking. So, but Frank did miss. I give myself like a B. I give myself a B in terms of effort. He played A+. All right, let me tell you about our friends at FitBod. The essential your workout really needs is FitBod. It's a fitness app that creates completely personalized workouts that adapt as you improve. Whether you are a seasoned gym goer or just starting your fitness journey, FitBod will push you to make progress. Listen, the making the schedule and following the app and different planning workouts, that's the toughest part for me. Like, when can you do it? Late? Do I want to do it in the morning? Planning the workout, tell me what to do when you show up at the gym. That's what you want out of FitBod, and that's been the best asset for me. FitBod creates a personalized workout routine based on your goals, fitness level, and available equipment. It additionally adapts as you improve, so each workout will be challenging and push you to make progress as you get stronger or master exercises. FitBod adapts to push you a bit harder in your next workout. FitBod's algorithm can also calculate new estimated strength as you progress. Learn new movements the right way with over 1,000 demonstration videos. That's important. You want to do things the right way. Add FitBod to your workout essentials. Join FitBod today and get your personalized workout plan. Get 25% off your FitBod subscription or try the app free at fitbod.me/debate. That's FitBod, FITBOD.me/debate. Jetski, let's read a super chat and go to a voicemail.
Perfect.
Take a call and then do 2 more voicemails coming out of it.
So D's Nuts sent in $5, asked, is remote start the best invention that man has made recently? And I have a good little anecdote about it, but I want to hear your take first, and then I'll give my opinion on it.
What does he want?
Remote start in a car.
Right.
Is it one of the best inventions of recent
It's
history?
up there, for sure. It's definitely up there. The only thing is, putting the key in means you're never going to lose the key. You ever have it on the seat and it falls? Put it in the cup holder. You got to move the cup.
I have a one-up for you.
Okay.
So my buddy lives on Long Island, but works in the city for a record
Oh,
label.
we're not saying push to start. You're saying remote start?
Remote start.
Yeah. Very good.
So
the guys who early in the morning, I don't do it enough. I have remote start. I don't do it enough.
The pitfalls of it, though, my buddy turned his car on in the house, got in the car, whipped it all the way downtown into the city, got out of his car, went to go change the parking spot, realized he didn't have his keys, but the car let him drive all the way because that's like the safest alternative, I guess. It can't cut the car off while you're driving. Like, what if you pull out 90 miles an hour and it cuts the brakes or something? Like, you can't do that. So thankfully, I was in the city, and I had my car, and I just gave him my car. He drove, got his keys, came back. But there's a little bit of a if you're a little bit of an airhead and you're not having your coffee, it could be dangerous.
I wonder, like all this AI stuff and stuff like that. Is there a way that you can call? What was the old one back in the day? OnStar? That definitely doesn't exist anymore.
Nah.
But you should be able to call or on the app, like chat with us via a problem, and you go to like Ford Pass and all these things, and you're like,
turn my car back on.
It's me. Like, it's me. You know what I mean? Like, help me out. Like, just automatically somehow start the car, and you could shut it off when I get home, but give me an hour pass of like a city bike.
Yeah.
There's got to be something like that if you're really in a fucking jam.
I couldn't imagine if that happened to me, but that's got to be like, imagine you drove cross country or whatever, and you went till you were in, I don't know.
Oh my God, there was a story in the neighborhood.
Pittsburgh or something.
Story in the neighborhood. Two guys had like Chevy, whatever, like pickups. Let's say F-150s.
Yeah.
Right, and he found out that for whatever reason it was faulty or something.
Yep.
His car started the other guy's car, and they were very good friends. They would park like at the gym for basketball games, or they go to church. He would move the guy's car.
That's
a couple
crazy.
of spaces each time. Like enough where you're like, I didn't park here. I parked.
How did it start the other car?
I don't know. But it's dangerous. But, it is what it is.
That's like you ever heard of the Kia boys in Detroit? You know what they are?
No.
So in Detroit in like 2018, 2019 maybe, there's a certain type of Kia that if you, I believe, just like took a USB cord and like somehow finagled it into the key ignition switch, you could jumpstart the car. So kids were stealing Kias all over the city of Detroit, joyriding them, crashing them into like churches and shit, and it was an epidemic.
My dad had a car that started with any key, including like the key for the little things we get here, like your office drawers.
Like an Allen key?
And you could take no, not that. Like a very small key.
Yeah, Allen key would fit.
A very small key for an office drawer, and you could take it out while you were driving.
Yep.
It also could start with a. He started it one time with a key ring, like a keychain thing, like a football-shaped thing on a keychain. Started it and took it out. Like the guy, he brought that. And he was like, "Oh, I forgot my keys. Give me your office key." And the guy was like, "No way, I gotta see this." Goes down, gives a key like this big, that opens his office drawer thing. He started it, threw him back the keys, and drove.
That might be the worst.
Fucking crazy. It was an old cars, man. Were fucking something, dude. I had an old car. Remember the cloth. The cloth would hang down.
Yeah.
And you used to have to staple it up. Fucking nuts. All right, Dukes, give me the call, and we'll go 2 voicemails to kind of end it.
Phil, Chicago.
Hey, Ricky, you got me?
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know how much of a healthy debate this is, but are the major markets and the major 4 sports dead? And I'm kind of saying that because you look at some of the success these teams have had over the past, I don't know, say like 10 years, and everyone seems to underperform. Like I want to take LA Dodgers in baseball, and the other team that shall not be named in baseball. They always seem to build these rosters, and they never quite make it. Is there something to this? Is there not the draw to the major market with social media nowadays, or what gives? Are players being more loyal to their markets? Like, I'm just going to throw Pat Mahomes out there for a while. He signed that big deal with Kansas City. Why is the draw not going to I know why it's not Chicago, but, why not go to L.A., maybe New York or some of the bigger football teams out there?
Well, I think the NFL is weird because I think guys develop you don't see like an arms race for guys in the NFL jumping ship as quick as you did in the NBA. But to use that example in the NBA, hockey, I think, was always kind of an X factor. Like hockey towns are meant to be off the grid type places. So the success there, I'm not going to pretend like I know a lot about hockey success, but I don't think Colorado is like a sports hub. I mean, it's got teams, but Winnipeg, like no other teams there, like shit like that pops off in hockey. But basketball, I mean, the biggest star out there is playing for Milwaukee. Like Phoenix is doing well. Things like that. Like you have a lot of teams. Yeah, I think the money I think it just equated itself. Like even the balance came back to order, if that makes sense.
No, I agree with that. I was just trying to think, and I think at least coming from Chicago, one thing about New York and the Garden, some of it comes down to ownership too. You hear no one wants to go play for Dolan, and I know the rumors that were going around with, the GM here in Chicago, like no one wants to come here and play here because they know it's toxic.
Yeah, and I also think like you don't need to like nowadays everything is national. So like you don't need to be playing in New York to have your own shoe and have success. You can get 4 million followers on social media. That shit equated real quick and even the playing field. So that's I think where we're at with that. And you know what? I guess it's good. Like it'd be boring if the same four cities.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that we have small markets trying to win things. So it's a good call. Jetski. Go ahead.
I would say I think about the Yankees. I think the only people that go there now are just to get that on their resume. The same thing with the Lakers.
Right.
I think people are only going there to say, I was a Yankee or I was a Laker. I think those days of, like you said, getting the bigger markets to get the notoriety and the publicity from the newspapers and things like that is long gone.
Agreed. Jetski, give us the 2 voicemails. Close it out.
Gotcha. One thing I want to correct, though. I just, via the chat, I was wrong about the Kia boys in Detroit. It was Milwaukee. So I don't want to put any Detroit slander unnecessarily.
Yeah, they got a big game this weekend, man.
I know.
Don't piss them off.
I wasn't thinking. All right, so here's a voicemail that I thought was funny from earlier this week.
Listen here, Snapper. Snap ahead. I got a question for you. You're ready to go out. You got a shit. You go take a shit. Do you jump back in the shower or do you chance it? Healthy debate.
He's saying we're dressed?
We'll replay it one more time.
You got to go out.
Listen here, Snapper. Snap ahead. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You're ready to go out. You got a shit. You go take a shit. Do you jump back in the shower or do you chance it? Healthy debate.
I think you always take the shit.
I think
you do not go out with a loaded gun.
No, but I think he's also saying if you just shit and then you shower and you have to shit again, like, should you go back in the shower? Because I almost think he's like saying chancing, like, what if you bring a girl home and like you want to be completely clean and free of residue?
No. The shower after I've done that. You jump in the shower, then you got to take a shit. There's nothing worse. You're dripping. You got to go back into the shower. But go back in the shower.
Wonderful.
Back in the shower. All right, give me the last one.
Actually, the last one, we're waiting right now. Okay, we'll give you one more. We're waiting right now for a special guest for a couple friends that are trying to go on their own subscriber journey right now.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to go.
Oh, yeah. I guess
We'll do another voicemail.
All right, give me that.
Hey, boys. If this is healthy debate, then I call the right number. I'm on the way home from the bar right now, and I just want to know, what's a worse way to lose a game? Getting blown out in a game like 30-10 or 40-10, or losing a really close game?
Always the close game.
Let me know whenever you guys hear that.
It's always, I think we've touched on this, always the close game.
I agree.
It's the same thing. Like, how would you, God forbid, want to die? One shot, or the guy tortures you.
Yeah.
That's what those, and even worse, you're down, and you false take a lead in like the third quarter.
Yeah.
Or you cut it to 3, and then they put 10 back on you the other way. Or you're down like 12-0 to start the game in hoops, and you battle, you do all that energy, the big comeback, and you use all your energy for that, and they still beat you by 12 down the road. You know what I mean? Like, there's just get me out of it. If you lose, you can be like, all right, we didn't get off the bus. It's way easier. It like eases
mentally
your
you can check out
way easier to check out. You're looking at next year's season tickets. Maybe you decide to put a movie on. Like, you're like, all right, what are we gonna watch next once this game fucking ends? Way easier to take the blowout. Way easier to take the blowout.
Absolutely.
Not even debatable.
All right, so we got the Out and About boys on their own stream right now. Their journey to 50K
going to
subscribers.
50K.
They're joining the stream right now. So we're going to do the 2-minute drill with Pat, Joey, and company. And it's going to be geared a little bit towards their content.
Okay,
then after we end, this stream is going to redirect
right
to Out and About.
Perfect.
And Rico will be on with them for a little bit. But once we
Perfect.
get Pat and Joey up here.
I did have a question I wanted to ask them.
Vinny, how we doing, buddy? Can you hear
Yo,
me?
What's up, guys? What's up?
John, perfect. Okay.
Bro, I was here for 10 minutes. They were like, put on a bathing suit.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, fine, I'll fucking put on a bathing suit.
Hey, I'm very happy I'm doing this via Zoom. I don't know what kind of antics there would have been in. And you have to say yes because they're the best. But where are they? I had a question.
It turns out gay is contagious. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question.
Pretty quick.
I did have a question for them before we went into the 2-minute drill. Where are they?
They're here. They are.
All right.
Yeah, close.
Hi, Rico.
Hey, what's up, Pat? Joey. How close are we, by the way? What are we at?
Not close. Not close, man.
We're at 47.6. We got to get the 50.
It's a journey. It's a journey. That's
Everyone
how it goes.
sub right now.
Yeah, everybody sub. They did it for us. Help us out. What did you guys think of what I floated on the rundown, little teaser, that if we staged we'd probably get kicked off YouTube, but if we staged a robbery, if I sent someone over there who was an actor to live rob you on the thing, would that have helped your subscriber account?
No, I live in a gated community, sweetheart. They'd never get past the guard. we have tried. But no, yeah, I think. I mean, I'd probably try to. We'd probably try to get our RIP. We'd probably try to get penetrated instead of getting.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to send someone, they can shoot me right in the gut. I don't care.
If that'll get us to 50, and hung. That's all I care about.
Yeah, whatever gets me to 50K. Perfect. All right, let's go, Jets.
All right, guys, just before we start this, I want to
So
run you
are
down
they
through what we're
answering?
doing. You're all going to answer. And
Okay.
if there's a rebuttal, you guys are going to go back and forth.
You guys answer
Guys,
first.
we do a 2-minute drill at the end of every episode. It's kind of hypothetical questions or choose your own destiny kind of thing. So right now I'm going to give you a bunch of, one-line terms, phrases, activities, and you have to determine if they're inherently gay or not. So first, we're going to have Rico go, and then you two will go. Okay? Sound good?
I said they're going first.
Oh, they go first? All right, they'll go first, then Rico will rebuttal. You ready? Okay.
All right, you go first. I'll go first.
Are any of these activities inherently homosexual? A gym steam room after 9 p.m.
A gym steam room after 9 a.m. A gym steam room anytime you're in the gym. The whole reason I go to the gym is to go into the steam room. Joey?
Yeah, it's any time of the day. A steam room is only for showing your dick off or to see and be seen.
It's the place to be. Yeah,
I
next
like
question.
It. Yes.
Okay, football.
Ooh.
I think it's underlying homosexuality, but I don't think it's as gay as wrestling. I think wrestling's the gayest.
Yeah, I'm with Joey. I think football, football for me, that's a straight guy sport.
Yeah, every play does start with one guy's midsection and another guy's behind, if we're being honest.
I mean, healthy. How else are they going to hike the ball?
Yeah.
Healthy.
Shotgun.
All right. Next one, preferring anal sex.
Over what? There's another
Traditional
kind?
sex.
On the ass instead of the pussy.
Ew.
I would say a little bit. I don't think it's inherently gay, but I think it does. I think it's a gateway drug to a boy's ass.
Yeah, because no further comment.
Saved by the Bell.
Ooh.
The only thing gay about Saved by the Bell is the girl that said, "I'm so excited" when she took the Adderall, and Jesse, what's her name? Jesse
Spano.
That's what I think about that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never even watched it.
There was some dream sequences that were a little like, yeah. I'm gonna say. Say yes, but.
Later gets by Zach Morris. I'd watch it.
Yeah.
While Mr. Belding jerks off in the corner. Bring it.
Okay, last one, softball.
No,
that's a dyke.
Yeah, that's a lesbian. That's lesbian. I knew they threw a curveball in there at some point.
Yeah, don't try. Not in this house.
Hey, Jetski, maybe it was a good move. I went fucking second, huh?
We could mute it in post.
No, it's fine. I mean, I'm just saying, that's why I go second. That's why I went second.
My costume.
Yeah.
What?
I'm not saying anything about the lesbian community that's fixed around here, so I don't want to say anything bad of their name because I do have some lumber that I need delivered.
Yeah. All right. Everybody go subscribe to Out and About. We're going to kick you over to the chat. What's next? Give us a timeline of festivities. Is there a cabaret show? What's going on next?
I'm not drinking until 50 subscribers. I started drinking now because I'm gay and it's 4 o'clock.
We're 300.
I was just in a calf town and I need to start drinking. I got a lobster pasta I got to make. I got lamb chops. I got to shuck oysters. I have a mignonette sauce I got to make. I have champagne that I need to pop. I'm having a full double dinner party for these queers, and no one's even.
And we're
Now
300 away. We're going to play a game of what, where Joey's going to put inanimate objects in my mouth. I'm going to have to guess. We have Brianna Chicken Fry coming over with Grace.
I
and
thought
maybe
they were
Zach
already
Bryan's
there. I thought they were there.
Huh?
I thought they were there.
They're coming back.
Okay.
Next time in house, they want to come back.
Okay. Now, Joey, shuck oysters. Is that an innuendo, or are you actually shucking oysters?
No, oysters with mignonette sauce for appetite.
Okay. All right, perfect. Everybody go check out and About, some of the funniest guys we got here. We'll kick it over to them. Everybody have a great show, guys. Healthy debate. Everybody loves Out and About. Get them to 50K. They deserve it. Enjoy the show. See you soon.
You're such a great.